All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Allie, and I'm a volunteer with 350 Sacramento. Tonight, I'm very excited that we have Ellie Steele here with us today to do an ABC Quick Check demonstration on how to, fix up your bike before you get going for the weekend or going on a ride with friends and family. Before we get started, however, I would like to just give a special thank you to our 10th anniversary sponsors this year. So just give me a moment while I pull that up for everyone. And as some of you may know, this month we're celebrating 10 years as an organization here in Sacramento. 350 Sacramento has been doing a ton of work to bring awareness around climate change to our community, and we're very happy to have the support of our climate rock star, SMUD, our local municipal utility district here in Sacramento. Also, our climate heroes, Chrysalis Cosmetics and the Sacramento Metro Air Quality Management District. They've been huge supporters of our work throughout the years, and we're really grateful for their support. But enough about that. You all came here today to hear from Ellie, so I'm going to pass it over to her. Thanks so much, Ellie, and look forward to learning from you tonight.
Okay, wonderful. So welcome. I love biking, and what makes an even better bike ride is to make sure that you have a well-functioning bike. Doing this ABC quick check only takes about 30 seconds as you get used to it and should be done before every single ride. And to do this, we'll go through our ABC quick check, but to make sure that your bike is in good working condition will save you a ton of headaches as you go down the road, making sure that any little issues don't become bigger issues or even injuries as you're out on your ride. So keeping the fun in biking. So we'll get started. Letter A stands for air. So checking your air pressure on the tires is as easy as giving them a little squeeze. Air just naturally leaks out of your tires, so every couple of weeks it's a good idea just to check them and top them off. You can find what your tire pressure should be. It's always written on the sidewall of the tire under PSI. Usually it's a range, so making sure that you have a pump that has a good gauge on it, so making sure that it is as firm, kind of like a tennis ball. So giving it a squeeze if it's soft and squishy like my tires are here, topping them up shouldn't feel like a marshmallow, should feel more like a tennis ball. That way you have less rolling resistance, you're less prone to flats, and it doesn't feel like you're riding through sand. So A with air. Once that's all topped up, you can move on to letter B, which stands for brakes. Definitely don't want to find out that your brakes aren't working as you're zooming down a downhill trying to slow down and stop at the intersection. So really important to make sure that these brakes work, checking both of them one at a time. So with your right hand, push the bike forward, should lock up the rear wheel. Right hand controls your rear brake, while your left hand controls that front brake. Front brake is where all your stopping power is, but if anybody's tried using their front brake alone, you probably know that that could potentially throw you over the handlebars and cause an injury there. So making sure that each brake is working individually. As you squeeze the brake levers together, the brake pads should be rubbing right against the rim, not along the tire, making sure that there's enough brake pad for each side. If they're really worn down, it's time to replace these brake pads. And over at the handlebars, when you squeeze the brake lever in, there should be at least a finger space between the brake lever and the handlebar. If that brake lever is coming all the way against the handlebar, those cables are too loose and it's time to pick up some of the slack. So make sure that you have enough stopping power to stop you effectively. Letter C we've got down here with our chain. Also cassette, those gears in the back, chain ring on the front, and your crank arm right here attached to your pedal. So with your drivetrain, all those together, components together make the drivetrain. Just give it a little pedal backwards. It should sound nice and smooth, not jumping gears, not squeaky. Your chain should be clean and lubed up. Nice and smooth. If it is jumping around, like that, that tells us that it is not a happy drivetrain and that something's going on. Usually, the gears have gotten changed when you were stopped. So nice and smooth, making sure that you're looking at it, it's not rusty, it's not dry, keeping your chain lubed up every so often will make a much happier chain as you ride along. Our last part, ABC Quick. Quick stands for our quick releases. Those can usually be found at the wheels. Very important, especially, you know, after you've taken your wheel off, which is helpful. But if your wheel is loose and you go for a ride, that danger there is that the wheel falls out and causes an injury or a broken bicycle. So if this quick release is loose and floppy, making sure that you spin the other side till you get a little resistance and then closing it. Doesn't have to be closed super tight, but just enough to make a little indentation when you give it a wiggle. It's not going anywhere. You have a nice sturdy wheel. And I'm gonna reclose my brakes just so that it's ready to ride for next time. And that's our ABC Quick Check. Then for the first couple of minutes of your ride, you're just listening, feeling for anything that seems out of the ordinary. Your bike will usually tell you if there's an issue with some weird squeaks or clicks or wobbles. And so really pay attention while you're close to home so that you don't have a bigger issue down the road and have to stop or call for help. So really basic ABC Quick Check. I guess we're gonna open it up for some questions. If anybody has some thoughts on our Facebook Live.
Awesome. I do have one question for you. Is there any kind of tools or extra equipment you suggest folks bring with them on their ride?
That is such a great question, and I have those supplies with me. What I bring on a ride definitely changes based on where I'm going. So if I'm going out on a bike tour or mountain biking in the wilderness where I'm going to be need to be much more self-reliant, my toolbox is going to be more extensive. And if I'm just going around town where there are bike shops close by or buses that I can just hop on if there's an issue, that toolbox is a little bit lighter. So it all depends on where you're going and what kind of mechanical know-how you have. But this very basic toolkit, even if you don't quite know how it all works, a lot of times there's somebody riding by that might be able to help you. So flat kit consists of a good quality pump. This one is a little portable pump. It has a foot lever as well as a gauge so that you know how much air you're topping up your tires with. Also, these tire levers usually come in sets of 2 or 3, and this is what you'll pry the tire off so that you can get to the inner tube inside. And then this one is this tiny little patch kit right here. These ones are self-glued patches. So you find the hole and you just add the patch right on top of the hole. Some people prefer different kinds of flat kits or different kinds of patch kits. So use what works best for you. Definitely practice when you're at home so that when it actually happens on the side of the road, as it's getting dark and about to rain, you feel prepared. That is not the time that you want to do your first tire change. So get home, practice changing your tires. The other thing I carry around with me just about on all rides, I have this little multi-tool right here, which has a number of different hex keys, screwdriver, these tools alone. This one actually even includes a chain tool. This is about 90% of your bike tools right here in this tiny little package. So if bolts get loose, you need to tighten something up, this will cover most of it. So the goal is to get somewhere safe where you can do bigger repairs. If you need to replace components, a bike shop is always a great bet. You can also learn some skills on YouTube, lots of great resources online. But again, practice these things while you're at home so that you're prepared when you're out on the road or trail or wherever you want to ride.
No, that's awesome. And could you maybe share for us one more time the name of that tool that you just highlighted, and if you happen to know where you got it, if you remember?
Well, this one, the brand is Crank Brothers, but it's a general multi-tool. You can find them online. You can find them at bike shops. Just about any hardware store will have some sort of basic toolkit like this. So this one, in fact, is 17 tools in one. Right here, the tiny little package. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I think one other question I'd love to ask you is air pressure. So I know when I started biking, I was super unfamiliar with the air pressure for my tires and what it should be at. If you could show the viewers maybe where to look for that information, that'd be great.
Let me see if I can get that right up and close. It is always very hard to find because it's always written in the color as the tire.
Totally, yeah.
Once you find out what air pressure your tire should be at, I always recommend writing it down or keeping a flap of the tire, the tube box. So I'm going to find this one. Let's see if I can get an up close here. So right here, it says my tire size. This one is 700 by 38. Let's see, and I need 50 to 85 PSI. Let's see if I can get you in here. Let's see, can you read this at all?
Oh, there we go. Oh, we got it for a second. Oh, perfect. Yeah, right there, you can see it.
50 to 80 PSI. So that's the pressure that my tires should be at. As I said, if your tires squish like mine do, it's that soft, squishy marshmallow feeling, I need much more tire pressure in there. And since you're all down here with me, why don't we also take a look at the valve stem? So tubes come in two different valve stems. This one is pointy at the top. It has a little nut that secures the valve, keeps the air from leaking out, so you would have to unscrew that valve and you can hear the air leaking out. So pointy, I always think about the P. Pointy is for Presta. Presta tubes have this little point. They're thinner valve stems right here. A Schrader tube is more of that standard inner tube that you would see on a car tire. It's wider and flat at the top, and that's a Schrader valve. And that's important when you're going in to purchase a new inner tube. You need to know what style of valve stem you have.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for going into that detail for us. I know it's super important information that a lot of us might not, be aware of. So I appreciate the extra detail.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? And I know a lot of the information that Elle presented on tonight is also, it is available online. There's great resources like League of American Bicyclists that often, have some great tutorial videos. I highly recommend folks check those out, as well as, our local bike organization, SABA. So definitely get connected with them if you're not already. But I know, we wanted to keep this quick for folks and really just test the waters and all the great information that's out there for bicycling. So thank you so much, Elle, for joining us tonight. And I just want to encourage the rest of you to definitely check out 350 Sacramento's Facebook page, our website. We have a lot of great events going on the rest of the week focused on sustainable transportation. So thank you again, Elle. Really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you all out on your bikes this week and for many weeks to come.
Thanks for having me today. Yeah, always happy to help people get on bikes and have more fun, safer riding.
Definitely. All right, well, that's all for now, and we'll talk soon. Bye.